Hello everyone, Jez Cox here with short highlights of the 14th edition of the Grand Prix Cycliste de Quebec in Canada, the first of these two Canadian World Tour races back-to-back. Quebec on the Friday, Montreal on the Sunday, and these were the scenes that sign on absolutely perfect racing conditions as well, and big names amongst them too. Christophe Laporte back in the peloton, Tadej Pogacar back in that rainbow jersey, and looking to see whether he could go 1-2 in these two races. Of course, he won Montreal 1 year ago. Finished in the top 10 in Quebec, but it wasn't necessarily his kind of race. The course for this year's Grand Prix Cycliste de Quebec, a bit longer, more laps, and a tougher finale too, by cutting back on itself across the Côte de la Montagne and finishing up in the gardens of Battlefield Park, as it's known. In total, 18 laps of that 12-kilometre circuit. A kind of criterium start, effectively. No neutralised rollout, this being a circuit. Two riders from the Canadian national team going from the gun as well. They were Philippe Jacob and Félix Bouchard, the two Canadians there for the national team. And they went in the company of Philippe Marchuk, the Pole for Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, and Luca Vergelito, the Alpecin-Deceuninck man. Very strong four indeed, and they were allowed to go too. As you could see from the peloton as they rode their way a first lap round this course, these four started to build up a good lap. This was the end of lap one as well, contributing really well. Philippe Marchuk, the Pole in there, doing a lot of work to make sure they built up a lead, a big lead, quickly too. Chasing behind was actually coming from Lotto, the team of Arnaud Delis, of course, and it was Henri van den Bellet, the Belgian, who was doing lots of work on the front for them as well. This was at half distance, or getting towards half distance, where Philippe Jacob was dropped on lap 9, meaning we just had the one Canadian rider up there, and that's when we saw the attacking starting too. It was Tim Wellens kicking things off at the front, Jan Tratnik going with him in a move too, and we had a really dangerous looking Group 2 forming on the road with Niels Pollitt and about, 7 or 8 riders at any one time. It came back as well. It was a really dangerous looking move. And as soon as it came back, it was caught by another group that contained Pavel Sivakov. Wellens working with them. We were then down to 2 riders out front because Félix Bouchard was the last remaining rider of the Canadian national team. He had done a very, very good ride. With 33k to go, we had yet another move boiling up behind as we saw the original split being caught by this one. We had about 12 riders coming together at the front of the race. Oscar Onley drifting out the back, and we will wait to see how he goes in Montreal on Sunday. Then came this, an attack from Tadej Pogacar with 3 laps to go, going into the second lap as well. His team had led him into the bottom of the Côte de la Montagne, but it was not a long enough climb to do the full lead out, so Tadej Pogacar went. He took with him Biniam Gamay, amongst others. André Meurisse still there as well. Paul Lapera with them too, in a very strong looking chase group as well. The question is, how much would Tadej Pogacar put into getting back in touch with the front of the race? They were well within touching distance of the front of the race, so it would be becoming this group. Julien Alaphilippe on the back of it in the lead, and a big group was coming up behind. In fact, what was becoming a peloton behind. Alberto Bettiol on the final lap going clear with Julien Alaphilippe. Alaphilippe had been playing every trick in the book to stay out of trouble and do as little as he possibly could until the final time up the climb. And this was it. Alaphilippe going clear just of Pavel Sivakov. It was the last roll of the dice from Alaphilippe, who had kept everything in reserves for this one big attack, final time up the climb. I think Julien Alaphilippe's going to do it, and what a return. If he can just hang on, Julien Alaphilippe, he hasn't run any races this year. Some people have been saying that actually it was kind of time, the end of his career was starting to wane, but we saw it at the Tour of Britain, those same snappy legs, the accelerations on the climbs of Great Britain just last week. Julien Alaphilippe has been boiling to this point. He's got to try and hang on here. Pavel Sivakov giving it one last go. I may be speaking too soon because Sivakov is coming at him, but Julien Alaphilippe, what a return to the top for the 2-time world champion. This was vintage Julien Alaphilippe from way back in 2018, 2019, when most people would say he was at his best. He is right back at it. Everything about the way he rode it. The final climb, the attack, the legs to stay out there, the tactics that he played within that group, everything about it. Alaphilippe ahead of Sivakov, meaning a French 1-2 with a very strong Alberto Bettiol in third too. Those three were the podium: Bettiol, Sivakov and Alaphilippe. Two French riders, as I say, on top of the podium. And looking forward to Sunday's Grand Prix Montreal as well. Will it be the same players? Will Tadej Pogacar get his chance for revenge after looking very good on the Friday? You'll have to join us on Sunday for coverage of that one.